Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with Our Crafty Playdate, and today is Throwback Thursday. Today we are making this card. You, in your card, will have an inside panel also. So the object of this, and I'm doing it with my friend Robbie, and I will link her YouTube channel in my description below, so be sure that you click over because every Thursday we do this together. We each make a card using some stuff that you may have in your stash. If you don't have something exactly like it in your stash, you can get a kit. Robbie and I have committed to only using things that we have enough to make 5 kits of 2 cards. So you get 2 cards, everything you need to make it except for the stamp. Yeah, that's not ink, I promise. I got a bonk there. Anyway, you get everything you need except for the stamp. You can put your own stamp, your own sentiment in there, and I will send a longer piece of white for you so that if your sentiment is a little bit longer than mine, that's fine. But there are a couple celebrities in this card, and I want to show you some tricks. And this is really a stash buster, right? Because you're using a lot of different pattern papers. All right, let's get started. Celebrities. I wanted to talk about celebrities. So celebrities in this card, first of all, this is a retired color called Berry Burst. And you can see it's got a small frame around the outside. I loved this color. So sad when it retired. But Berry Burst, I think having a little pop of color. And if you don't order the kit, if you decide to, the kit, by the way, is $5. It includes shipping. It's everything you need to make 2 cards for $5. Anyway, if you don't have this or you don't order the kit, the object is keep it as much 2 colors as you can and then pop some other color in there. So pop little bit around the frame to make a frame, and then my bow pop. Okay, and this ribbon is awesome. It has silver on the edges, also retired. I will obviously list some other colors that might look really good with this, along with their ribbons in the description that you could use if you wanted to get all new stuff. The stamp set is current that I used today. It is Peaceful Moments. It's in the regular annual catalog. This is the thank you that I used, but I love the font in this. And so I think, for me, the real celebrity in this card is the font and the pop. So font and pop, and go for it. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to teach you some awesome tricks. Okay, this card base is black. I'm going to pull all my parts over here. This card base is black, just your basic black. As a matter of fact, it's called basic black. And it's just a normal card size, not a big deal, so I'm not going to list that. This berry part is a normal panel. So it's just a normal size panel. And so I'm going to just go ahead and glue that down. Is this the glue that worked? I had it glue. Oh no, here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to glue my panel down because it goes right away. Okay, so glue the panel down. And then the next white panel, instead of being a panel like a quarter, this is a 1/4 inch smaller, this would be a 1/4 inch smaller. This is not. This is just slightly smaller than the berry. So instead of being a 1/4 inch smaller, which would make it 5 by 3 3/4, it is actually, if you can see here, I'm pretty far down, but it is actually just a 1/7. Sorry, she said 7th. 7/8. It's 7/8. So it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So it's just an 1/8 smaller. So it's half the distance of a normal panel. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this panel down because this part isn't changing. You have some options later that I will discuss with you. We will decide together. Okay, so there are my panels, and I can set that aside. And it's awesome, right? You could use red. You could use lime green. Looks amazing. Okay, moving on. All right, so then I have my pieces of my designer series paper that are like, oh, geez, what am I going to do? I've got all this leftover designer series paper. This was a great one. It was just black and white, and it was fun because if you wanted a different color, really, you could sponge it. So I could have sponged this with hot pink, just some kind of a hot pink or berry burst. How about that? I could have just used a sponge and ink and sponged it, and it would have been berry burst and black. Would have been very cool. So this paper was awesome that way. And since it's 2-sided, I can flippity flop. So I know that's not really a word, is it? Okay. But I could have decided which pattern I like, or in some cases, look at this. I'm using the same piece of paper, only one of them is flippity flopped. So you have a little bit of versatility. Okay, so I have 5 pieces because your eyes like three or 5, right? So 3 or 5. You can use 3 wider pieces if you have them, or if you have a lot of little pieces left, use them up. Okay, here is the trick. Oh, another celebrity, not this piece, but this grid paper. Completely underappreciated grid paper. You can get it in the catalog. If you come to my class, we always have it at your table, at your spot. And then you can take yours home with you, which sounds ridiculous, but it's nice because ink doesn't bleed through it, so it doesn't mar your tabletop. And with this grid, it's super handy. So you can, look at this. It gets used really well here. I lined this up so I knew exactly where I needed to stamp, and I used the grid to do it. So I'm going to use my grid because it's my celebrity today. This piece is just a piece of scrap. As you can see, it doesn't show at all. I'm using a really light color. I didn't want to use white because I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. So I'm using a color, but you know, not a big deal. Okay, I am just going to line up this on my grid right here. See how it's right along this darker line on my grid. And then I'm going to pick my pattern. So let's put it in the same order just so that I don't confuse myself, because you know how that goes, right? Okay, so that's the same piece of paper too. Ooh, I like the V's going down. All right, so that is the same order. I'm gonna now, this is your trick. So don't say I didn't ever teach anything. By the way, these are 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. So really, this is a scraporama, right? Scraporama piece. Okay, just a little strip of liquid adhesive. Don't use snail on this because you might need to adjust your pieces. Now I'm going to use my grid, and I am going to go, so if I were to just do this on this piece of paper, I want to say that would be the middle, right? 4 blocks down and 4 blocks up. So I'm going to just slide it down 1 block. So I'm using my grids. See, I'm lining it up along that line and keeping this on that line to keep it relatively straight here. And I'm just using my blocks to determine how far I want to go down. My next one is just going to go up 1 set of blocks like that. Right up, I'm going to just butt it up against my other one. Now, it is important to know that this piece of paper needs to be wider than your ribbon that you're going to use. So we're using this ribbon. So I think it is 3/8 of an inch. You need to give this, it needs to be a little bit beefy, but you don't want it to hang off the edge. Also, it can't hang off the edge on the other side, or you might have to trim it, which is also not a big deal. All right, so this one is a down block. So my dark ones are down, my light ones are up. It doesn't matter the order that you put these in, but you do need to alternate your values. So if you are using, blue and green, you want a blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. So you do want to alternate. Okay, this one is, I'm going to hold it over here now. I'm still pretty much on the lines, so I'm staying pretty even here. The grid paper keeps you from getting wonky. And when I say getting wonky, what I mean is starting to slowly angle and angle. The way I cut biscotti when I'm making it, I cut it like this, but every once in a while I'll start cutting it a little more like this, and then by the end, you're like this. It's cutting your own bangs. So this keeps you, see, and it's okay that it doesn't hang off the edge here, because all I'm using it for is to kind of lock down my stuff. All right, so there you go. This made it so much easier than trying to glue it on here and stay even. You can make them uneven and, kind of crazy, and you can even angle them and crisscross angle kind of and make them more fun. And that's really cute with a birthday card. If you're using like confetti and brights, that would be really cute. But this one's a little more sedate. Okay, so it's going to go like this, not a big deal. But let's go ahead and do our bow, because our bow is the next thing that we have to do. All right, so I am using a bow maker. If you do not own a bow maker, I have some and I can get one to you. Check the description below. There hopefully will be a link that you can click on, and then you can order one. All right, so I'm going to make a quick bow here. And again, I use the bow maker. My friend's husband made these for me, and they have saved my life on more than one many occasions here. All right, so you just pull it straight. I know that's fast. If you order a bow maker, I will send you a link also to a video that I have on my library. And if you don't order a bow maker, you can just search it out. It's there. But it makes a great bow every single time, and that's very handy. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. Now, I just want to make it way over by the edge, way over here. And it's going to get taped to this piece right here. I will not tie your bows for you, so that if you decide to do something else other than a bow, if you just want to do a straight across and then tie a knot, you can figure out what you want to do. You'll just get a strip of ribbon, but it will be enough to tie a bow. Okay, if you opt for that. Look, I've got a hitchhiker, always. Okay, so I am taping with tape my ribbon to the back of my strip, like that. Now, I still need to do my stamp, and then we'll start assembling, and I'll show you why I waited for that. Well, obviously, because you want to do that off. So isn't that the best tip ever? Okay, so again, this is Peaceful Moments. And I'm going to do everything I can to stamp this on here. Perfect. All right, so again, I will send you a longer strip than just this one in case your sentiment is a little bit longer so that you have the paper that you need there. Okay, so when I made this card, I glued these straight down to the card, and then I popped this up, this thank you up. You can do it kind of how you want. You could even, and I'll do it on this one so that you can see what I mean. If you have a plethora of little dimensional pieces like this, they work great for this. You can actually put them here. We're just going to start putting some pieces down here. You can actually put them on this part. We're going to do this way down here. And stick it on your card. I do not recommend, by the way, if you're going to glue this straight down to your card, don't run glue this way, because there could be a little seam. These are seams, right? So it could ooze out a little bit there, and then your card is sticky. So if you're going to actually use liquid glue, dot, 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 strip, strip, strip. Okay. Dot and strip. There you go. All right. And I'm going to put a couple more just right here. And I'm just using the pieces and parts of my dimensionals so that you can see even these edges are super, super useful. And we're going to use more in just a minute. All right, so I have a hair stuck under there. How did that happen? Not even my hair. It's like a piece of ribbon fuzz. Okay. All right. Robbie does a cool thing. By the way, did I mention Robbie? Go over and look at her Thursday, because she always does something really cool too. And hopefully we're not just teaching you how to make our specific kits, but hopefully you're learning some great tips from us also. Hopefully this is a great tip on a stash buster, but also Robbie's tip last week, completely going to incorporate. I had no idea. Okay, seriously, a little ribbon fuzz is going to make me nutty. I had no idea that you could squeeze the ink pads and pop them open the way Robbie does. And that's a saving grace. Okay, so now this can actually pop up on my card, and it will be a little elevated as opposed to being stuck down. So it really depends on what you like. I know it's kind of probably hard to see there, but it does give it a little interest. What you don't want is your card to get too tall. So if you keep beep, 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 you keep stacking up your dimensionals, it gets really, really tall. So you could glue that straight on. I'm still going to dimensional it. Now, when you're putting something over ribbon, I always do it right along the edge. And then this one is going to be right along this edge. And I'm kind of making a little channel that the ribbon can go through. If you put it right on the ribbon is kind of floppy here, and it could like teeter-totter your sentiment. So teeter-totters are fun. Did you guys say seesaw or teeter-totter? I think that's a regional thing, right? Some people say seesaw, and some people say teeter-totter. Do you guys even know what I'm talking about? Like the balance board at the playground. Okay, that is it. That is your card. Again, if you order a kit, you get enough to make 2 cards of each style. All your parts are there except your stamped sentiment, and you will have a panel, a white panel for inside your card also. and you are all set. Thank you so much. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. If you'd like to order a kit, there's a link down below or my email address, whatever works best for you. And hopefully there's a link also for the bow maker if you're interested in one of those. Be sure to pop over to Robbie, see what she's got going for you, and I hope you learned something new today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.